You're listening to Galaxy of Film.
Alright guys, welcome back to the brand new episode of Galaxy of Film. I'm of course your host Max, and I'm joined with none other than my co-host Dakari. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Can't complain. Finally on break.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lucky you, dude. Lucky. I'm starting break tomorrow. Got a couple other things I gotta do this evening after we conclude these podcast episodes we're recording. But yeah, it's been hectic as hell. So we've taken a couple weeks off since we've done the podcast last. We just ended up with finishing Monsters Mayhem pretty strong last episode. Took 2 weeks off. I know we had planned to do one. Second week kind of came unexpectedly. Just because school's kicking my ass. I know it's kicking your ass a little bit, dude. This semester has been a time, bro. Truly.
Yes, it has. Well, this quarter for me has been a time for sure.
Yeah, dude. It's been a fucking time. But here we are, nonetheless. We are back with some more Galaxy of Film for our listeners, continuing on strong with season 4. Back here with our usual logo back. We're not doing the monster thing anymore because it's, we're done with the spooky season, man. We're getting nice and comfy and cozy. We're about to get some hot chocolate and nuzzle up with some nice Christmas films coming up next month. But until then, we have the rest of November to enjoy and appreciate. I know we promised our listeners a special guest episode. We are yet again letting them down, and we're giving them a different episode this week. We're giving them Segel week, excuse me. We're talking about Jason Segel this week. I know, guys, we promised special guests. We're working on it. It's scheduling's rough, dude. What can I say? I hate to keep blue balling all of our guests, or our listeners, excuse me. But holy shit, scheduling is just a bitch. We're trying to get the Monsters Inc. episode lined up. We're all students, including the special guest for that episode. We're trying to do the Star Wars episode. People in different time zones. Some of these people we're dealing with are currently working on projects that they can't come on for because of NDAs. It's a whole thing, dude. So we promise, like always, when something gets pushed off on our show, Dakari, we never cancel it. It's always just when can we eventually get to it. And this episode, I think, is really fitting for that because as we're here for Segel Week, looking at the podcast schedule, I'm pretty sure this is the last episode that Danilo suggested that we do way back in season 1 or 2. It has been long overdue that we finally talk about these films. So I thought it'd be very fitting for, hey, we fucked up, we overpromised a bit, but hey, to prove to our listeners that we eventually will get back to this. This is the episode we're getting back to something we promised a long time ago, 200 episodes ago. So, sorry guys, but here we are finally talking about the end of the tour and Jeff Who Lives at Home, both starring our man Jason Segel. Before we even dive into announcements and news and get into our films this week, Dakari, first off, dude, I need to know, are you familiar with Jason Segel? Are you a fan of his work as a pseudo producer because he did Muppets? And are you a fan of him as an actor?
Well, I haven't seen that many of his films, but
Okay.
the films that I have seen from him, I usually have liked or enjoyed, for the most part. I haven't seen any of the Muppets movies or anything like that.
Oh, he's only in the
But
one, but it's great though. You should watch that one.
Okay, right. But he was in. I seen Bad Teacher. I think I remember seeing. I think I gotta finish that. But this is the end. I haven't seen this at the end in a long time. Shit like Knocked Up and even fucking Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Friends with Benefits. From the shit that I've seen him in, he's always been barely pretty good, and he has a good sense of humor. So
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. I'm a huge Jason Segel fan right off the bat, bro. Huge fan of How I Met Your Mother. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. If not,
he was in that.
He was one of the main cast members as Marshall. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
How I Met Your Mother is probably my second favorite show of all time, right after The Simpsons, dude. It's my comfort show. I've watched that show I think 7 or 8 times all the way through. I fucking love it. So obviously love him as Marshall in that series, but I really do love and appreciate his work with the Muppet movie in 2011, because he kind of like helped revive the Muppets in a sense. Like that was his big passion project he was able to bring to life, which was really cool. Kind of like what Ninja Turtles, that last animated one, was for Seth Rogen, Mutant Mayhem. How I was like him kind of spearheading this and pitching it to members. Love forgetting Sarah Marshall. I don't know, dude. I like Jason Segel is a good comfort actor. I was talking about it recently in the podcast too, but like there's an Apple TV show Caitlin and I are obsessed with called Shrinking that he stars in with Harrison Ford. That's also incredible, dude. So I don't know. I was really happy to kind of dive into more of his filmography with this episode because I hadn't seen these movies before. So finally getting around to them. I'm assuming they're also first time watches for you then, Dakari?
Yeah, these both are definitely first time watches for me. I've never seen or heard of these.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, obviously we'll get into it a bit. I've heard about End of the Tour prior to these episodes, or this episode being scheduled. But yeah, Jeff Who Lives at Home was a total like kind of like ground film for me in a sense, which is crazy because it also stars Ed Helms from The Office, which is also one of my other favorite shows, probably like number 3 for me, right after How I Met Your Mother. So I don't know, dude. Really cool time watching these though. We'll get into it in just a second. Let's go over some announcements with in-house here at Galaxy of Film. First and foremost, I'm very, very proud to announce to our listeners and our audience at home the film that I wrote and directed and Dakari did music for, and we had so many wonderful artists come together and bring that film to life. It won, dude. It won an award at a film festival. And not just that, like it won like a physical trophy for it. We won a Bo Show Cup award at the Beaufort Film Festival, the 5th annual one, and also the final film festival. And I gotta say, dude, there was a mix-up, like last minute, like the day before, where like the scheduling got moved around, and we were like shifted to the afternoon slot last minute instead of the night slot. And I didn't understand it at first. And the guy there who's running it, Billy, was just kind of like a trust me kind of moment with it. It was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I am just blown away. This is the 4th time has screened. The first being at Showcase number 2 this past summer at the Raleigh 5 Points Film Festival. And then also the same week that I was at the Beaufort Film Festival, we did a small screening at Sandhills Premium Cigars in Home Mills. The audience we had at the Beaufort Film Festival was the most lively and engaging audience we've had for this film yet, dude. Like, I thought the reception for this at Showcase 2 was crazy. Like, we're talking like they sold out all the tickets, and they had still people showing up during the film festival. So they just had to order more chairs midway through the festival to be brought in. So we're talking like 70 plus, 80 plus people all crammed into one little room who were cheering on, which is just really surreal, to be honest with you. And they found out like Chef my Uncle Tom was in the audience with us there, obviously. And they found out he's there, and he had to like give like a stand up and like a wave to everybody because all cheered him on. Just absolutely nuts. They all requested we do a Q&A there, which was really cool too. So that wasn't like a schedule thing, it was per audience request, like in the moment. Some really engaging questions, a really engaging and like lively audience throughout the whole screening. I've never been like present in a screening where people are laughing at the performance of Austin Pigza in that film, or I'm hearing like to little young in that film, So truly just the biggest honor to not only win the festival at that point with the Bo Show Cup, but like to even be a part of this was an incredible honor. For the bottom of my heart, thank you for everyone who showed up to that film festival, who supported it. Thank you so much, Billy, for running such a beautiful festival. I know that was my only year attending and being part of it, but like, holy shit, what a crowd, what a way to end the festival. And thank you for helping me be part of that town's legacy with film, truly. So, and congratulations for all the people who were involved with I know I've talked to pretty much a majority of you privately, and I've sent out a couple mass messages, but if you were, for whatever reason, just not on that radar and didn't know, congratulations to the cast and crew. You guys all did a beautiful and incredible job, and I'm so proud, and I have such a deep love and respect for all of you guys. So, yeah, I'm officially won the Bo Show Cup, dude. Very proud of that. You'll see it here on display in the podcast background soon enough. But before we wrap up announcements, there are two little films we have coming out soon, Dakari, within the next month. So, and the first one is one directed by you. It's your follow-up to Man of the House. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this, my good sir.
Well, not a follow up in the sense of it being a sequel.
Well, yeah, dude.
Yeah. Nah, because people get confused.
That's fair. Okay.
Gotta be specific. Yeah. But nah, this is the next short film that I worked on not too long after I did Man of the House. This was actually I shot this in May of this year. And it was my first student film, my first student project for SCAD, and it's called Twin Connoisseurs. I'm looking to put it out this coming Monday. We're still adding some finishing touches to it, but for the most part, it's pretty much done. Um, this one is kind of different in comparison to the Man of the House. It's not necessarily an action film.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily a suspense film. It's more of a chamber piece. It's more of a conversational piece. It's more of a bit of a spiritual piece, if I must say. It's different, and that's all I'll say about it. Just be on the lookout.
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped for it to come out finally. I know we've been talking about it for quite some time now, but like, I don't know, Twin Connoisseurs to me feels like you're like a surgeon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that grounded,
Okay.
one location kind of piece.
Hmm.
It's very simple, but has its depth to it, which I like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited for that one to come out.
Appreciate
Truly,
that.
it'll be a cool one, dude.
Appreciate that.
And then there's another film we have releasing that's pretty short, a little piece we directed and shot over here in Idaho called Of Books and Bullets. It's a Western whodunit film. Definitely not like on the grand scale of how we do most of the films I've directed or the things we've shot in North Carolina. It's a very small, short film. But it's fun. It's a parody film. It's very Naked Gun inspired. And that comes out December 15th. So, yeah, check that out on the Galaxy Film website and YouTube channel, of course. Twin Connoisseurs coming out Monday, November 24th. Books and Bullets, December 15th. I know Naima just wrapped up on her next short film, Bad Company. Very excited for that to come out. But let's go ahead and wrap and go over to talk about news about something that's not coming out, unfortunately, Dakari. Because as of today, which we are recording this episode day of, shout out to our listeners that tune in right away, Paramount just canceled a couple hours ago the rated R live action Ninja Turtles movie, The Last Ronin, which of course adapted the Last Ronin storyline, where in this universe, 3 of the 4 Ninja Turtles are dead, and the 4th one, who is unnamed, it's revealed in the comics, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but that 4th turtle, he takes the weapons of all 4 of the turtles, and he kind of avenges his brothers, his fallen brothers, and lives up to their name and being just the one turtle to carry the whole team. This was supposed to be a live action film. I know the producers attached to this thing were actually pitching to get Judith Hoag involved. Judith Hoag, of course, is April O'Neil in the original 1990 Turtle movie. She's also the mother in Halloween Town, which is what I grew up knowing her from before Ninja Turtles. Had no clue it was the same woman until I was like 20 almost. Love her to death. I don't know, dude. This is weird because this has been in development for like a year now. You got people pitching and asking for casting. Paramount didn't state why this was canceled, but I will end this little note with this. The Mutant Mayhem movie that came out a couple years ago had a spin-off show that's currently going, and the sequel was supposed to come out in 2027. The show just got canceled last week on season 2 on Paramount Plus as well. And Paramount is now saying that instead of working on this Last Ronin film, which from my understanding was going to be a spiritual sequel to our original 3 films and possibly the TMNT, which is still a fucking sequel. You guys shut about that. It was supposed to be like a 5th or a 4th Turtles movie, right? In a sense, almost like a Top Gun Maverick kind of continuation years later. We're not getting that. And Paramount is saying we're going to get another live action Turtles film.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Dakari, we haven't had you on the show talking about Ninja Turtles, I don't think, the few times we have on the show. Are you a fan of Turtles? What are your thoughts on this situation? Because I'm kind of upset. I'm irritated. This is stupid. Give me my last Ronin film. Where are you at, bro?
Man, like I'm not even the biggest Ninja Turtle fan. Like I never read any of the comics. I just knew about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Sure.
I just knew about the movies. I just knew about the cartoons. I just knew about that, right?
Mm.
So, I mean, coming from somebody who definitely has looked at and watched a lot of the visual cinematic properties that have existed over the years, I do have an appreciation for the Ninja Turtles franchise, for sure. One of my favorite things to watch Ninja Turtles related growing up was the TMNT animated movie.
So
You
good,
know,
dude.
I know a lot of people really detest that, but I really enjoy it. It's honestly the most grounded Ninja Turtles movie we'll ever get, and that is a fucking animated movie. You know what I'm saying? I can't even say the same shit for the older movies that came out in the 90s, and I damn sure can't say the same shit about the live action films that came out almost a decade ago. Okay? I
Oh, the
can't
Michael
say
Bay
the same
ones.
shit. The Michael Bay produced ones. Yeah, I can't even say that. And I enjoyed that first live action flick quite a bit. I thought it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fine for what it was, you know? Um, no, it's just like to hear some shit like this. I mean, it's just like, why would you continue to do something that people unanimously disagree and have discourse and just are up at arms about because people do not like those live action movies. People really don't. The only people that really do like them are kids
Yeah.
or
Well,
younger kids.
the first one obviously is a classic. Everyone, I think, likes the first one, dude. You know.
First
But
one, yeah, the first one from 2014, I like that
oh,
one.
I'm talking about '90. I'm talking about just in general all the live action
Oh yeah,
ones.
no, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah. The
original is
Kino or
yeah,
not the Kino.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. The Michael Bay ones, dude. No, yeah, you're right. Those are not well received whatsoever.
No, they're not. They're
Yeah.
not. They're not.
Yeah, I don't. I need to watch those still. They've been like something that's like in the back of my I need to get to list. Um,
Definitely watch that first live action Ninja Turtles movie. I think that one is the most entertaining. It
yeah,
is.
dude. I don't know. Eventually we'll get to it. But this is just fucking stupid. Genuinely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. Like you guys really shot in the dark, bringing out a great idea to life. Had me excited for it. You know, had millions of fans across the world kind of looking forward to this because you guys took a huge swing with this recent reboot of Ninja Turtles. It felt like, and in a hot take, I
Yeah,
think it's the
like
best reboot of Turtles we've gotten so far. Has been Mutant Mayhem. So it's like, oh shit, dude, you're gonna have your
uh
new franchise leading unit, your shows and your movie. You're gonna have that be Mutant Mayhem, that series, and you're gonna take the risk, and you're gonna make the movie the fans want, and you're gonna go back and do something live action. We're gonna bring this really dark and gritty story to life. You know, I don't know. This to me feels like it it's not necessarily as big of a blow because we weren't that far in production, but it feels like if Matt Reeves' Batman were to get canceled in the midst of like the DCU going on, you know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those like
that would have
creative
pissed everybody
outlets.
off. That would have
Exactly,
pissed
and this
everybody
is the same kind of shit for that. I feel like, dude. So I don't know. I'm not in boat with Paramount with this one. Fuck you guys. Give me my last Ronin movie. That's ridiculous. On to a little bit of happier news, but also very somber and sad at the same time. Chadwick received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame today. I haven't had a chance to watch the ceremony yet. I've just seen the pictures that have been all over social media about it. Um, I'm pretty sure this was like the soonest the star could have been given, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like this year? Because it has to be like 5 years after someone passes.
Yeah, it has it been 5 years?
It was 2020.
God damn.
Yeah, dude. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom came out in the middle of the pandemic.
Came out in the middle of the pandemic, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's nuts, isn't it? Saying that out loud, dude. Like, Chad,
That's crazy.
I know. Like, Chadwick died. He passed like right after Endgame.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little bit after Endgame he passed.
I can't believe it's been almost 6 years since then, dude. Which is nuts to say
I
out
can't believe.
loud. Like I don't know.
Can't believe.
There has not been another actor within the last decade to like I don't want to say leave that impression, but like to leave that much of a mark and have that much of a presence that is missed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not like just the presence of him is what's memorable, and that's what I mean by like an impression. It's not like it's something we just remember of him, but like we are genuinely feeling his essence being missed in films going forward, dude. Like it's really odd. You know, there would have damn well been a role for him in Sinners if he were still around. I think we
No,
even talked about
absolutely.
that during the podcast for that. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
obviously of Black Panther that he would have been still been in the picture too going forward with that.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's great he finally has a star. It's weird to say finally because it feels like last week. It also doesn't feel like it was within this decade even. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a really interesting like breakdown of a celebrity death. I feel like. Um,
Yeah.
do you have any thoughts or feelings on him getting the star today?
Yeah. A part of me feels like, okay, of course, well deserved, understandable
Mm-hmm.
as to, why they had to, do it the way they did, of course. But another part of me is like, why now?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, as much as, it feels like, people are actually, showing up to honor his legacy physically, it feels like an opportunity for people to do that. But at the same time, it's just like, I mean, even before he passed, even before Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, he was well deserving of a star then. So why do we have to wait until after he passed for that to happen?
Well, that's
That's
the
that what the other had.
what is the what is the rule to getting? I don't know why. You're right, dude. On the walk because I'm tripping. There's people are still alive and clearly fucking get a star. Okay, I'm tripping. So a person must be nominated by someone else, meet criteria for professional achievement and longevity in entertainment at least 5 years. So you had to have been within the industry for 5 years. So yeah, you're right. I wonder why now. Genuinely, is there a rule of someone after they die? Okay, so there is a rule if you pass. There is a 2 year waiting period after death before a nomination can be submitted. So I guess within the last 3 or 4, we've could have had one. So you're right. It is interesting for the timing of it.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm dissatisfied with it happening because I'm not. I mean, the same things that you've been saying, like it really feels like he really feels like one of the few actors where their absence has been evidently felt and is still being felt to this very day.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are still talking about T'Challa needing to be recasted for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like if you still got people talking about that and concerned about that to this day, then you left a mark within an industry. Like it's crazy. Like I was having a debate with people on the internet talking about, oh, T'Challa needs to be recast, and I'm just like, no, he doesn't. T'Challa's dead. If you've seen Wakanda Forever, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you've seen Wakanda Forever. Okay, if you've seen that, then you know that there's gonna be Prince T'Challa. Okay, you know there's gonna be a son. His son is going to be the next Black Panther. Okay, you know that. So they just need to cast his son.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that T'Challa really needs to be recasted. I mean, I feel like Ryan Coogler had the tough decision to choose whether or not to recast T'Challa or continue the story with the actual circumstances. Okay, and I feel like Coogler did the most tasteful thing. It
I
says a
agree.
lot about him as a director, and it says a lot about Coogler as a person, if you ask me. I don't think it's as good as the first Black Panther, but I do commend it for actually being something and something of merit after the tragedy that was his passing. You know what I'm saying? It is a good film. So man, when your presence is still felt after 5 years, like it just says so much. Like I feel like he was on par with Denzel for me.
Wow, very strong. I
He
hear
was
you,
on.
dude.
He was on. He could have. He literally, like, if he had a few more films under his belt, he would have been up there. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because he showcased versatility in so many different movies. From Black Panther to fucking James Brown to fucking Thurgood Marshall to Jackie Robinson
The
to
same, yeah, with
fucking
Harrison Ford, yeah.
yeah, to fucking Levy in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I mean,
The
he's
Five Bloods, even too,
done
Spike Lee, like one of his other right
five.
before he passed. Yeah,
Yeah, it came out after he passed the Five Bloods, so it's just like, bro, the amount of versatility that he had to me is why I say he would obviously be he's up there for me. He definitely is, because he sold so much in a little amount of time.
I love it, dude.
You know
Oh,
what I'm
for me, I'm
saying?
still very pro John David Washington over Denzel. I like Denzel's kid more than him,
Hey,
man. But no,
that's crazy.
I do
That's
respect
crazy.
and I do understand the status Denzel has and what it means to be compared to and you know just put in the same sentence as Denzel. I get it. So no, beautifully put, dude.
Mhm.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, it's bittersweet. I think is just kind of the way to look at it. It's well deserved. Damn, I can't believe this is how we're celebrating it. Unfortunately, you know.
Yeah.
Moving on though, guys, from news, we are actually going to be doing this episode a little bit differently. We're not going to be cutting the break and go over to a stream of the week, mainly because this has been a hectic week and we're having to record this day of. And we got to make sure you guys get this shit on time, so we're not doing that. We're going to move straight into our movies. So we're going to go ahead and first talk about Jeff Who Lives at Home. This movie came out 2011. Like I mentioned earlier, Dakari, I'm a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother, obviously. Huge fan of The Office. I don't know how the hell this movie went under my radar for 10 years, 10 plus years, like 12. Like, two of the stars of both of those shows that were on air at the time still co-star in a movie with Susan Sarandon. I'm just not hearing about this shit. Weird, dude. Weird. Also, I did have a chance to meet Susan Sarandon earlier this year with Naima at a convention at a GalaxyCon. So having recently had the experience of meeting her and talking with her for a couple minutes, really made this watch a very delightful experience. So obviously this is a first time watch. I know it was for you too, Dakari. Watch this one night
Yeah.
with Caitlin, and I don't know. This is an interesting one. Jeff Who Lives at Home is all about Jeff, played by Jason Segel. He's kind of this nobody who's just chilling at the house. He's like 30 years old, 29 years old. He's chilling. His brother is married, but like has a failing marriage. And there's dad recently passed, and Jeff kind of is seeing like the name Kevin pop up around, is taking it as like the sign from his father, to just go on and do different things in life. And Jeff tries to get out of the house. He goes with his brother and has this whole like scheme basically, like where they're following his brother's wife to see if she's cheating on him or not. And she is, spoiler alert. So they're all like catching her really sloppily, like leaving this paper trail of cheating on her husband, or getting ready to cheat on her husband, if you will. And so Jeff and Ed Helms always like one step behind. They have their R2 and 3PO kind of banter, if you will. There they go their separate ways for a moment. The Kevin name ends up bringing them back together. They're pursuing their investigation on the wife. This whole time there's a B plot where their mom, who's Susan Sarandon, is at the office. She's dealing with the loss of her husband because this is her birthday. And she's just lonely, dude. She's just lonely. She's a secret admirer in the office, and she's trying to figure out who. So we get this little B plot of that going on. We end up having Segel, little Jeffy, and Ed Helms kind of coming around full circle. Ed Helms is, "Yup, I'm tired of this. I got to make a change. Obviously, the divorce is happening. Got to move forward." Jeff, he's like, "Cool. Glad you're good, bro." Like, he's not super like much of a depth character compared to the other film we're going to talk about. He's not very deep. So then Ed Helms get ready to move on. Him and his wife end up staying together, and they work it out because love, of course, dude. Yeah, so they're chilling, they're getting ready to go home. But all of a sudden, that's when Jeff jumps off a fucking bridge because there's a car crash, and he saves his family who is like dying in this car basically because the car is going underwater. Breaks the window, goes in. Jeff is stuck underwater. He's about to die. Ed Helms also jumps off the bridge, goes save his brother. He saves them, revives them with the Coast Guard in the boat. And then they all live happily ever after because the mother found her little lover. Chilling at the office, found her secret admirer, got her little happy ending. They all celebrate the mother's birthday, and at the very, very end of this, Jeff can put together this little wooden plank that his mom told him to do. A little thing he hasn't done since his dad has died. So, yeah, I don't know, man. This is an interesting one. It's a very brief little movie. It's like an hour and 20-ish minutes, I think, exactly. And it feels... I texted Carter about this, Dakari, and I don't know if you feel the same way. There's a shot in Man of the House. You know the shot. We fought so hard for it because it got lost. The doorknob shot. This entire movie was just that same shot being done. It was just the weirdest fucking thing. Every 5 seconds. And for listeners who don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Man of the House. There's this shot where Kobe is walking up the stairs as getting ready to like bust in, right? And Carter does this beautiful like snap zoom on the doorknob as soon as Kobe like twists it, and then we cut directly from inside, and we're like behind you and Tasha's character, or Tasha, excuse me, and as Kobe comes in, we snap zoom on him. So it's a cool match cut. It's a lot of stuff going on. It's just beautifully done in that film. In this movie is just that. Like, it's constantly snap zooming every 2 frames. It's really interesting.
It's literally the whole entire movie is full of snap zooms. I was just like, wait, am I watching a fucking a Shaw Brothers film directed by Chang Che right now or something? Because like you haven't seen any of Chang Che's films. He's the guy who directed the 5 Deadly Venoms, and I believe the 5 Deadly Venoms is one of the movies that RZA and the Wu-Tang brought up several times. So he directed that, and in a lot of his movies, there's you see where Quentin Tarantino got it from too. There's a lot of snap zooms to close-ups on people's faces when there's like a big climactic moment happening in the film.
Especially like Kill Bill.
Yeah, exactly. Or if it's for dramatic effect. Chang Che was like the progenitor. He was like the pioneer in that shot. Right?
Okay,
that was him. You know, so you gotta watch some Chang Che flicks. A lot of them are pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Like, this movie is literally nothing but snap zooms. Nothing but. Like, throughout I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I mean, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I wasn't bothered by it because I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't. It helped kind of authenticate the experience a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I did appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was interesting. Like, I don't hate it by any means. It doesn't like take away from the film, but it did take me out of it. You know what I'm saying? The whole time, it could have been like a drinking game. You would have been completely passed out by the end of the film, dude.
Oh, hell no.
Because it's every fucking 2 shots. I sent Carter a 30-second video of this movie, and I think the snap zoom happened 7 times within 30 seconds. I shit you not, dude. It's interesting. I don't know what that conversation was like in the pre-production room. I don't know if that was something just on set. The DP was like, yo, look what I can do, and he just kept doing it. I would have loved to have been there though for it, because it's an interesting concept for a movie like this. I don't think it takes away from it too much, other than just you looking like, what the fuck happened? Why are we doing this every 2 seconds? But overall, that little comment and note aside, I was really impressed by this thing. You know, this movie has a lot of heart in an unexpected way. I just wish I saw this sooner, dude. This feels like a nice blockbuster rental, truly. You know, we get this really cool story of overcoming grief and coming to terms with it, and trying to re-embrace and re-love, not just on a sense of with your partner, but like from an intimate family standpoint with a sibling, which is really cool. And we get this other B story, which is great, where it's like this story of self-acceptance in a way, of moving on in a sense, and also like a great lesbian love story, which is kind of left field. Like I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Like this movie just does a lot at once, which I think is also a negative in a sense, just because like, while I think everything is a beautiful story, it just feels a little bit at the very end like, oh, this is the crossroads we're going with by the end of the film. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this whole sequence where before Jason Segel's character Jeff jumps off the bridge to go save the car wreck, like we're all stuck in traffic because of this car accident on a bridge. Like, imagine the start of La La Land, that kind of traffic, but no one's getting out and dancing type of shit. And this whole traffic sequence is kind of like the thing that separates everyone and then brings them back together once they exit their cars. You know, for the whole family, for Jeff, his brother, for the fiance, or for the ex, excuse me, the ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, whatever, and the mother. So I don't know. It's interesting that like all these beautiful stories kind of come together in a bit of a clunky way. You know what I'm saying? Um, but overall, I mean, I really enjoyed this for the most part, dude. What are some of your thoughts on this?
You know, well, besides I didn't. It's not like I hated those snap zooms, but it definitely there was like when I tell you this whole entire movie is snap zooms. Like I mean that. Like this whole entire movie is nothing but that. Like visually. But I was, I was honestly surprised because I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has has a surprisingly very spiritual element to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I surprisingly, and it really is a good reflection or a good it's how do I say this? It is a mirror towards a specific experience that um influences people to always do the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Like, yeah, like, because I can speak for myself, like it's a movie about noticing all the signs that occur around you and noticing the patterns that happen in your life and knowing that they're not happening by happenstance or coincidence, you know. Um, as a matter of fact, one of the key references that people make in this movie is to the movie Signs by M. Night Shyamalan, which I have not seen.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
no, I have not seen that. Like I had to mute like a few parts of the movie so I wouldn't get spoiled because they was kind of going into detail about the movie and shit. And I was like, okay, I don't want to hear all that right now. I haven't seen it yet, but I get it because the movie is called Signs, and apparently the movie is about signs. Well, like this movie is.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I was intrigued by it. Like I wouldn't call this a perfect movie per se. I do feel like it kind of meanders a bit near like the middle, even though it is an hour and 28 minutes. It does, I do feel like it kind of, takes its time a little bit to kind of, add some filler in order for it to be like a feature film, It's not all fluff though. It's
Mm-hmm.
really not all fluff because a lot of what happens in this is very, like I said, intriguing. I wasn't expecting the lesbian love interest in this movie, but I mean, I understood it. You know, the shit with his brother and his fiance, the shit with him, uh, just looking for this person with this one name, and then keeping track of that name, you know, to see what all of that shit leads to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you think about a lot of shit. It makes you think about a lot of stuff. It makes you think about what you are doing and the things that are happening around you on a consistent basis and how much we need to pay attention because we never know. We never know what lies before us. We never know what lies beside us. We never know what lies in front of us. Hell, we never even know what lies below us. We always got to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. Your life can change just like that. And I believe that that's one thing that the movie says in a very profound way, you know, for sure.
Damn, you just got deep as shit, Dakari. I love it. Let's go ahead and dive into our ratings for this film, dude. Let me hear yours first, dude. You're on a hot streak. Let's hear it.
All right, I'm giving this one a best spin. I
Oh
really
shit.
enjoyed this
Okay.
one. Um, like I said, I feel like there's some filler during like, the second act of the movie. It's not all filler, but there is some to kind of stretch it out to be that feature length. And snap zooms, while I do appreciate them, I feel like this movie visually is almost nothing but that. Okay?
Yeah, dude.
Like this movie is almost nothing but snap zooms, and you could either love it or hate it. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate it, but I don't necessarily love it. I more so appreciate it.
No, I get
But other
that.
than that, man, yeah, but other than that, man, this is a very, very compelling movie with some dark humor and some kind of slapsticky humor in there too. I mean, Ed Helms is in it. He's the guy from the Hangover movie, so there's gonna be some slapstick elements in it,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, like a lot of that shit really did work for me. Um, you know, so yeah, very compelling movie, very intriguing movie, and something that definitely surprised me because I expected it to be funny, but I didn't expect it to be moving, and it really was. So I definitely recommend it.
Hell yeah, dude. My rating for this is a Naboo on the way to Bespin. I
Okay.
don't know, man. I just feel like a little bit of this is rushed. I feel like mainly Susan, as beautiful as it is, Susan Sarandon's storyline, like, is just a little bit rushed for me. I would have liked to have sat with her,
Mhm.
finding out who the secret admirer is a little bit longer. It felt like
Yeah, I get that.
her sudden acceptance of this was also a little bit odd, because I
Yeah.
don't. Other than literally one scene prior to this, and it's a beautifully shot, beautifully done kissing moment, but like other than the one scene prior, we literally don't see her deal with her sexuality whatsoever in the film. So it just feels a little bit like
Okay.
a curveball for a beautiful moment. Like you stick the
I'm not gonna
landing.
lie.
Go ahead.
Gonna lie. That moment where they kiss and the whole building is like raining down from the drill. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was a little bit too dramatic. That that
Okay,
was a
interesting.
very that was a very when everything else kind of felt grounded, that shit felt like it came straight out of a fucking Lifetime movie, for better or for worse.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay,
I can see that too, dude. For me, it wasn't
okay,
like.
and
Go ahead.
I wasn't expecting to see Rae Dawn Chong in this type of way, but whatever, I'm not mad at it.
For me, it wasn't like the dramatic aspect that like took me out of it. It was just the fact that like you stick the landing, but you don't stick the build up. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mm,
felt like we're building up I really thought we're gonna play into this weird joke where like the creepy old guy is like the secret admirer, where the one she's talking to at the water tower for a minute. I thought
yeah,
that was gonna be a bit more fleshed out. Obviously that was a mistake, and that wasn't the case for the plot. But I don't know. I just wish that had a bit more of a fleshed out build up. I feel like while there is some fluff in this film, we could have taken some of the fluff away from Jeff's storyline and given some of that time to flesh this out a bit more, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is Naboo on the way to Bespin for me. By no means bad. I'll
okay,
probably watch it at some point, but like this feels like a rental more than anything else. And you know what? We need movies like that, dude. So I don't regret watching this. This was a good time. Um, yeah, just funny as hell to see like Jason Segel, who has quite a lot of range in the next film. It feels like
oh
is
yeah,
just
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of he's just kind of like
I didn't
this
realize how much
numb
range.
and dumb guy in Jeff Who Lives at Home. But let's go ahead and talk about the end of the tour. This is an A24 film starring Segel, of course, and Jesse Eisenberg, who we haven't had the chance to talk too much about in the podcast. Are you an Eisenberg fan, Dakari?
Mostly, mostly.
Okay, I like his weird indie shit. He's been doing a lot of that ever since Lex Luthor, actually, from Batman vs Superman and
Yeah.
Justice League. So yeah, like the art of self-defense I really really liked. It was Sasquatch Sunset, I think it was called, from last year. I liked a lot too. And there was one other one I'm drawing a blank on within the last 5 years or so that I really enjoyed. Of course, the Zombieland films are great. There's other numerous hits we've seen and grown up with from being in the the 2010s and whatnot. But yeah, dude, cool combination scene with Jason Segel in this. They're two awkward guys, expecting to have a lot of awkward and good chemistry back and forth. And then we get into this film, and let's hear your recap first, Dakari, because there's a movie we've talked about in the podcast before that you were not present on that episode during season 2, and the entire time I watched this movie, I thought it was going to be that movie, and I'm really curious if you thought the same thing as well. So if you wouldn't mind giving us a small little recap on the end of the tour.
Yeah, this is also a first time watch for me.
Okay.
You know, I had no idea what it was or what it was about or anything like that. I just knew it had Jesse Eisenberg in it and Jason Segel. So it's really, to not give away too much before we get into the actual review. It's a documentation of, and this is historical fiction, by the way. It's a documentation of a 5-day interview between an up and coming Rolling Stone reporter, his name is David Lipsky, and this novelist who just released this big, huge novel that's been acclaimed and talked about, David Foster Wallace. And it takes place during like the mid 90s.
Mm.
And it's literally that's literally what the film is the documentation of the 5-day interview between the two guys and the trials and tribulations that they overcome and or settle into throughout the film's runtime. And yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, dude. So I never heard of this author that Jason Segel plays in this film, David. And I was not familiar with the story, obviously, if I'm not familiar with the author, because it kind of is just this character study, if you will, on these two guys, mainly our main subject, played by Segel. And it's one of those things where, like, if you don't know the story, if you don't know this guy, you're just not going to know the story in general. And I know it sounds very simplistic and dumbed down, but like, it's not like the Selena movie. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you might have known the character or the celebrity first, or seen the movie first, and it kind of clicks for you. This kind of goes hand in hand, I feel like, at this point, unless you're blindly recommended this. So yeah, for me, Dakari, I don't know. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of awkwardness between the two actors in general, and I love them for that. I think that works so well in other roles they play. When they came on screen, I was expecting kind of like this almost clumsiness, like Jar Jar feeling back and forth. Just because, right, it's historical fiction. I know these guys are kind of clunky, awkward. To me, it just felt like Brokeback Mountain, like the entire time. It felt like this weird, and it felt like this weird sexual tension, dude. We don't see them fucking Brokeback Mountain until almost an hour into that movie, almost. I love Brokeback Mountain, okay, dude. I got the soundtrack on my fucking phone, right? It's a great movie, but like 40 minutes to an hour into that thing, they finally then fuck, right? The entire time I'm watching End of the Tour, it felt like that sexual tension from Brokeback Mountain. It took me so much out of this film, and I just kept looking over at Kate like, are they gonna fuck? Are they gonna blow each other at this point already, dude? Like, what is happening at this point? Like, I don't know anything going on other than this author that Segel is playing committed suicide, and that's ultimately why this tale is being told at this point in time. And why Jesse Eisenberg's character is like reflecting on the 5-day interview, because it's more or less kind of like a memorial in a sense. Like, he's reviewing the tapes and he's giving this whole like big speech about what this guy meant to him. And I don't know, man. I was like, are we just building up a tragic like love story? Is this a gay suicide? Like, what are we building up here? I don't know this guy. I don't know the source material. So yeah, the entire time watching this movie, literally until the very end when Jesse Eisenberg has like this awkward, like, he tries to give Segel a hug and Segel's like, no, get in your car, peace out, and like comes up to the window. I thought he was gonna lean in and give him a kiss, bro. Straight up, I was so confused this whole fucking movie. Did you feel that way at all either? Did you feel the weird sexual tension between Jesse Eisenberg and Jason Segel?
I'll definitely say at times I definitely did.
Okay,
At times throughout, I definitely did.
so I'm not totally tripping. Okay, dude, that's all that matters, I guess, because I was so confused. Um, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, 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 you're not.
I wish
I
this
definitely.
movie I wish this movie had a lot more to say than I think it does. I became familiar with a writing style about a year or so ago, stream of consciousness, where it's just kind of spewing whatever comes to mind, and a lot of it gets kind of gets thrown into like a philosophical kind of like category. I became aware of it and like invested in a book that was written by Rick Rubin last year, which is all just stream of consciousness. And Rick Rubin, if you don't know, is one of the greatest music producers of all time. This movie just kind of felt like that to me in a sense, dude. And I wish I felt like I had a deep moment. I do think this is Seagal's best dramatic performance, just because while like Seagal doesn't
Yeah.
get typecasted necessarily, I don't ever see him playing himself. I do very much see the character of Marshall from How I Met Your Mother come out in almost all the roles he has, especially in the Shrinking Show. So like, I think this is Seagal's best dramatic performance. I think Jesse Eisenberg does a damn good job as always. I don't think it's his best work, but I also don't think we've seen Jesse Eisenberg's best work. I think he's an actor that continuously grows and an artist that continuously grows in general. And I don't know, we just get to this point where like we have these two really great actors and we have these characters who are supposed to have this deep, meaningful 5 day, conversation, adventure, if you will. I just feel like nothing was said other than like surface level shit consistently. I know we have this moment where it's like the last day of the tour, and after butting heads the night beforehand, they get back at David's house, and David comes in the middle of the night and he kind of has this whole like monologue. Great monologue, dude. Again, it felt very surface level for the character's thoughts at that point in time. I thought a scene that was much better, that was done a lot better, was earlier on in the film, where we see David's character kind of like have this snapping moment after Eisenberg's character starts asking about the heroin addiction, all the rumors going on about him online, and all this. I don't know. I don't know. This movie I'm very torn on because I want to like it more than I do, and I want to dislike it more than I do as well. Like, it's not something I can pinpoint and say this is an awful movie or it's a bad movie. It's just lacking, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of good things in the pot, a lot of good ingredients to make you think that like, oh, you're going to have your next kind of like philosophical movie. But I'm just left like, I had these thoughts in middle school, dude. I don't know. How are you feeling about this one, Dakari? Were you left wanting more of this at all too? Were you wanting more snap zooms from this film?
No, I don't think this movie needed any snaps. I feel like it was shot uh, perfectly the way it was shot. I mean, movie looks great, if you ask me. Um, I definitely felt the tension throughout some moments in the film, not throughout the whole film, but there were some moments where I was just like, whoa, 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 wait, hold up. What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, y'all getting kind of close. Y'all getting kind of close. Conversation kind of getting a little passion in here. I don't know, but yeah, like I get where you're coming from. I feel like the what you're saying is valid. Saying that, the movie felt like it had a lot more underneath and a lot more depth to it than it did have,
Mm.
and I understand the criticism towards that. I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed this
Okay.
movie, man. Like I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot, man. Actually, I think I liked it more than I think I should, but
Okay,
that's
let's hear
neither
it,
nor
dude.
there, man.
Let's hear it.
Neither it's neither here nor there, man. Like even though yes, that's sprinkled throughout, it's just like There's a lot of different themes and ideas explored in the movie through the dialogue in this movie. And this is a very much a conversational piece. Kind of sort of like 12 Angry Men meets My Dinner with Andre, because there's some serious testosterone fueled arguments in this film. It's like kind of reminiscent of films like 12 Angry Men, but it's a very personal documentation of events, kind of like My Dinner with Andre.
Mm-hmm.
So it really it gives you a lot to think about. It gives you a lot to want to research, even because these guys are both writers. The difference is that one is getting established and one is up and coming. He's just a reporter. You know what I'm saying? So a they seem to fare each other very well in that aspect, but there's a lot of other things that you learn about the two characters that honestly don't necessarily, like, if you find, like, if you were to watch the movie and you see how their personalities were revealed throughout the entire film, you would tell that, yeah, they shouldn't be friends.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be friends at all, because there is just some pivots within the conversations in this movie and within the personalities of these guys that really kind of makes you think about their relationship further down the line. And this is with knowing that he's passed already, because they show that at the beginning. They show Jesse Eisenberg finding out the news about Jason Segel's passing, at the beginning, and that we get that's when we get the 5 day interview event. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, it really puts you front and center into their thought processes, not just as men and not just as people, but authors. You know what I'm saying? It feels like, you know, in a way, it showcases how authors have a bit of a code within themselves. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to respect, when it comes to research, when it comes to dedication and dealing with adversity, with their passions involved, and just a lot of shit, it really makes you sit down and think about the type of moral code that writers have amongst each other. Because yeah, writers are writers and they touch on different genres, but it's the same profession.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it really kind of just makes you think about the people's outlook on that, and not just the people's outlook, but the people who are actual authors. It makes you think about what their thought process is behind their field of profession, their career. So I was very intrigued by it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. I do feel like, yeah, your criticisms are most definitely valid,
Mm-hmm.
but I was invested throughout because I was looking forward to what their conversation was going to be during each scene of the film. After they finished one conversation, I'm like, oh, wait. What else is he going to ask them? You know what I'm saying? What else are they going to talk about? I was intrigued because there was a lot of really good conversations in this movie, and even with the Rolling Stone up and coming reporter, him showing his dilemma with asking him a certain question, it showcases, the human side of this shit, because a lot of times when you go into reporting and you have to do a report on, a celebrity or a current famous person, it's more than it's not going to be rare that you have an occasion where you hire somebody that is highly receptive or is a fan of said person that they're reporting. Like, more than likely that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it really kind of gives you that dynamic and the thought process. I think of both parties very in a very articulate way. It made me think about it a lot. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay, beautifully put again. Let's hear your rating for this one.
You gonna laugh, man. I'm gonna give this a Bespin on the way to Coruscant, bro.
No, I'm not gonna lie. That's fucking great. I'm glad this one connected with you because, like, I
Mm-hmm.
really went into this episode for context as well. I don't know if you guys, for any of our listeners that don't follow us on Letterboxd, follow us. Number one, number two. I watched this movie twice.
Please.
Like, I got halfway through it and then I paused it. I was about to fall asleep. Next day I went home, had to go ahead and rush watch Jeff Who Lived at Home because Kate wanted to watch with me real quick. She became so invested, she wanted to go ahead and then watch another tour. So we had to restart the movie and watch it from that point. You know, so I'm glad this clicked with you, dude. I really wanted this to click for me. I don't think, like, it's a bad movie by any means, you know what I'm saying? It just misses its mark a little bit for me, you know? So I'm glad this one, you know, resonated with you so much and that you liked it like you did. For me, this one is just a straight Bestman. Or, excuse me, a straight Naboo, not Bestman. This is a straight Naboo. I don't know if there's anything this movie could have done differently, because I understand there is a source material you've got to stick with. And, you know, this, if it just didn't happen, it just didn't happen, dude. But what I'm super curious about this one is if the weird tension, if the sexual tension, is that real? Am I tripping? Are we just looking too deep into this thing, dude? Because I feel like we're not, you know. But like, I don't know. I'm curious to see if that's something that like actually happened in the relationship. I think more than anything, if it is, then I think this movie makes more sense. If that makes any sense at all by me saying that, like, I feel like it's a more accurate portrayal of that. And if it is, and I literally cannot be upset by it, you know, because it is sticking true to the source material. But it just, to me, I don't know whether or not it's sticking to source material or these really good actors just are not a good pair for each other in a film. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird line where we're tiptoeing back and forth on whether or not it's great performing or great acting or like a really clunky performance. So, yeah, for me, it's an Naboo. Yeah, dude. But overall, I think this was a good pairing. It was really fun to go ahead and dive into some more Segel films. At some point in our lives, we'll be talking about Forgetting Sarah Marshall. We'll talk about the 2011 Muppets film as well on the podcast. So you'll hear more of our thoughts on his films going forward. But one thing I can go ahead and recommend is if you guys watch either of these films and enjoy them whatsoever, check out Shrinking on Apple TV. A phenomenal show that Segel starring in with Harrison Ford. Michael J. Fox is coming out of retirement next year to go ahead and be part of this upcoming season. Just a great fucking show. Apple TV's killing it. So, yeah, dude, this is going to go ahead and wrap it up on Segel this week. Do you have anything you want to leave off for our listeners? I know you got a film come out next week. You want to plug it again?
Yeah, be sure to look out. Be sure to be on the lookout for Twin Connoisseurs coming this Monday. Like I said, it's a different film. It's very different from Man of the House. Even though I want to do more films like Man of the House, it's different from that. It's like I said, it's more conversational. It's a little bit more spiritual. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. For our listeners, it's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week. Stay tuned for next week's episode. For the Thanksgiving season, we're going to be doing a little bit of a talk in a retrospect on Robin Williams with a little beautiful little film called The Fisher King. So I can't wait to talk about that movie with you guys next week. Stay tuned for it. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us an iTunes or Spotify review. It truly does help with the show much more than you can imagine. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.
You can find all our other podcast, original films, articles, and music on our website, galaxyofilm.com. We're also on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and you can join our Patreon for exclusive content and our Facebook fan club for early access to our films.